Are you ready to hear the never-told story of Spat, the traveling beer mug? Anybody mentioned in this story is only by chance and not part of any conspiracy. Spat was born in a land far, far away, in Munich, Germany, from his full name, Spaten Beer Mug. Okay, everybody knows he was technically born in China, but we prefer not telling him at this point of the story. Spat was not like all the other beer mugs. For once, he was bigger, and he was seriously bored and couldn't see himself living the life of a regular beer mug. Great was his luck when he was finally adopted by none less than Lindsay from Regina, Saskatchewan, now living in Zug, Switzerland. Lindsay from Regina, Saskatchewan had bought Spat as a gift for her friend Ted from Regina, Saskatchewan, then living in Calgary, Alberta. When Lindsay, now living in Zug, Switzerland, came to visit her family in Regina, Saskatchewan, she brought Spat along, making him officially an illegal mug alien. Unfortunately, when in Regina, Saskatchewan, Lindsay did not run into Ted from Regina, Saskatchewan because he was then living in Calgary, Alberta. Consequently, Spat was placed in the foster home of Lindsay's sister, Melissa, from and living in Regina, Saskatchewan. 2 years went by. Oh, this is when I come into the story. I, Catherine from St. Hyacinthe, Quebec, a friend of Lindsay, Ted, and Melissa, recently drove to Regina, Saskatchewan to visit my friends. This is when Melissa from Regina, Saskatchewan put Spat into my care with the hope that I could finally deliver him to Ted, who now lives in Regina, Saskatchewan. Unfortunately, I did not run into Ted in Regina, Saskatchewan. 2 months went by and it was time for me to drive back to St. Hyacinthe, Quebec. Not wanting to leave Spat in yet another foster home, I decided to temporarily adopt him and take him along on my road trip. Safely buckled up, we set forth on our 3,200-kilometer road trip from Regina, Saskatchewan to St. Hyacinthe, Quebec. We drove straight through Manitoba into Ontario. We even stopped for coffee at the Big Yellow Giant Chair place. It's very famous, you know. Then we stopped in Thunder Bay, Ontario for a good night's sleep. We left early in the morning. It was such beautiful weather. Yeah, okay there, Spatty. I hope the road isn't too boring for you. To be fair, Spat did offer to drive, but we kind of voted against it. Along the road, Spat really wanted to go for a swim. I had to explain to him that being a big beer mug and all, chances of him sinking were like 100%. Yeah, so we settled for hanging out with the daisies. We did encounter some wildlife, a wolf pack, even a moose, and some local dude. We got into Quebec quite late at night, which is a good thing because I had to sneak him in. You see, Spat doesn't speak French. We had a blast in Quebec. We hung out. Spat even had his first, second, third, fourth, and fifth beer. But now it's time for me to go back to Guadeloupe, Caribbeans. Did I mention that I live in the Caribbean? Well, I do. I explained to Spat that I couldn't take him with me. Being heavy and all, I would have trouble fitting him into my little suitcase. I think he took it rather well. Or did he?